Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, V'chakodash, giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, shalom and salutation to all you sincere Akim across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kassam Bagan from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, V'chakodash, for the elect. Now, this is another edition of the Drums of Liberation, all right? As you know, we've kind of moved past the Watchtower. It's basically the Watchtower has become the Drums of Liberation, right? Because what's happening as we inching closer and closer to the downfall of Babylon the Great, all right, known as the United States of America, what we are realizing is that the political aspects of Babylon and the religious aspect of Babylon is coming to a clash, all right? As we know politically, we're not, when I say we, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right, the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacobs, we were brought here to be slaves, so we are not to be involved in the voting process of politics. We are not supposed to be choosing sides, all right, when it comes to Edom's or the Edomites' political voting process, all right, the Edomites being the so-called white race. As you see right here, you have two individuals. You have the former president, Donald Trump, which he is a Edomite, and you also have the current president, which is Joe Biden, which he also is a Edomite, all right. Now, of course, there's a talk about civil unrest and civil war, which we know these things are going to take place because there's prophecy according to the Bible. But this lesson right here is for the Hebrew Israelites that unfortunately are still picking sides, all right? Because you see, I sense a lot of, Negroes talking about Trump and Trump this and Trump that. I'd rather have Trump. Trump is not going to save Babylon the Great. No one is going to save Babylon. And you shouldn't want Babylon to be saved. All right. Salvation is for the nation of Israel. So thus Babylon must fall. We choose no sides. What we do is we watch Babylon burn. We choose no sides. We watch Babylon fall. All right. Now, without further ado, this is something that came out. I believe it came out last week. I said next week. Last week. All right. This is the Federalist.com. And this is basically Democrat representative. His name is His name is Jamie Raskins. Okay. And this is Charlie Kirk's page on X. And this is what this guy, all right, this is a high-level Democratic representative, all right, as far as the Democrats are concerned. So I'm going to play this video right here to let you know how serious things are, okay? So let's listen to this right quick.
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in civil war conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that.
So basically, you heard that Jamie Raskins is saying, I'm going to read what it says above. It says, Jamie Raskins is saying that Congress will stop Trump from taking office, even if he's chosen by the voters. This is extremely dangerous. Every Democrat needs to be on record about this immediately. Why is he saying that? Because, again, you talking about civil unrest and civil war. By the way, the upcoming civil unrest and civil war, which it's not gonna be like the first civil war when you had the South against the North. Okay, this is gonna be a weird, more violent, more erratic civil unrest because you it's no longer just red states and blue states. Now you do have states where the majority are red, meaning Republicans, but in those states you also have people that are Democrats. Even in the so-called lone state of Texas. Now Texas usually will vote, always votes red, meaning Republican, conservative. But when you go into the provinces in Texas, you realize, like Austin, Texas, a majority of voters in Austin, Texas now are Democrats. So if you were to have a civil unrest, it would happen in all of these different cities. It would be a city against city within the state. All right. It's not just going to be state against state because not everybody in those states actually are lined up with one political party. So it's really going to be city against city and people invading different cities. All right. And going out there and committing basically murder. Okay. Murder, political assassinations and political murder. And these are the things that are going to take place. And then in the midst of that, because you have so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are still simple and unaware, they're going to partake in this political process. They're going to vote. And when they get disappointed, they're going to join and they're going to be a part of this bloody so-called revolution that's really propped up by the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller. That's the reason why us as prophets of the Lord and Great Millstone, we have to make sure that the elect understand the difference. So you don't get caught up into this thing. All right. Like I said before, we choose no sides. We watch Babylon fall. Okay. That's where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be fully aware and yet choose no sides, because our side is the side of liberation. It's the side of salvation. It's the side of us waiting for Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shah, for the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, to send his son, Yahweh Shah, to deliver us from this bullshit, from this madness. Okay? Very important. But these people are talking about this, and it's going down. All right? The 14th Amendment and Section 3. If you go into the 14th Amendment, Section 3, I'm not going to really read. It basically talks about the president being a convicted felon and all of those different charges, how they can use that to basically stop him from becoming a president in January 6th, from being inaugurated in January 6th. All right. Meaning they can use that to see, since they'll say, well, he's a criminal. He's been charged and convicted, because if he's charged and convicted, then he's a criminal. And according to that section, he can't be the president. So that's what he's talking about. OK, so that's kind of what the Edomites are doing to themselves, a self-implosion. And the reason why it's happening is because the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shah is working and is hardening the hearts of Edom, Esau, and is having them commit self-destruction. Okay, very important to understand that. That's why we don't partake into what's going on and what's getting ready to happen. This is Matthew 12:26, and it states, and if Satan cast out Satan, all right, meaning if Trump cast out Biden, or Biden cast out Trump, all right, because the you got Satan on earth, which is these damn devils, these Edomites, all right, Lucifer. But then you have the spiritual demon Satan. All right. Now it says, if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Now let's read this in the NLT, which we've been doing it heavy recently. All right, because the word and the verbiage matches completely with what's going on now and what's actually getting ready to happen. Matthew 12:25, Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. Let me read that again. This is Yahweh Shai. Any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. Now, someone will say, well, why is it that the United States, aka Babylon, still recovered from the first civil war? Well, the first civil war was not quite the same as what we're getting ready to face. The first civil war was orchestrated, and it was not a full-blown war. It was a war that was fought in particular areas. It wasn't fought throughout the whole country. You have to understand the Civil War take place in particular. It was certain battles, like the battle with Gettysburg, some shit like that. So it was certain areas where the northern soldiers and southern soldiers basically got together and fought. This Civil War, however, is going to take place in multiple states within cities because, like I stated before, there's no longer red states and blue states. It may be majority red in that state, minority blue, or it might be majority blue in that particular state and minority red. So these things are going to pop off that way. This is totally different. All right. So now let's go to Revelation to prove the fact that the two political party is in the scriptures, which we know about this precept. This is Revelation 13 and 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. That's talking about Babylon the Great, the United States. And he had two horns like a lamb. Those two horns is talking about the two political groups. All right, the two political parties, Republicans and Democrats. It says, and he spake as a dragon. All right, horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. The lamb is what the softness, meaning when they go out and they have rallies and all that, they talk sweet stuff about what they're gonna do for so-called Negroes, and like Trump came out and talked about black jobs. What the hell is a black job? That's why we choose no sides. Biden is a racist piece of you know what, and Trump is a racist piece of you know what. If you're choosing side, that means you're lost in the sauce. You're still in the matrix. What the hell is a black job? On the flip side, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. These are signs, man. Listen. Again, the elect are going to see that this is a joke. The political process, the way of the Edomite is falling apart. So do not get involved in the voting process. Be aware of what's going on, but do not get involved in the voting process. If you go out there and vote, the Lord's going to hurt you, man. The Lord's going to destroy you. I'm just keeping it a buck. All right. Now, let's go into ancient Rome, which we know is the United States. Babylon the Great is the reincarnation of the system of ancient Greece, all right, with the Greco-Roman Empire. Now, when you go back, which, you have to go into the history. When you go back to the history, you had also had political groups. You had a Senate. You had two parties. One of them was called the patricians, and the other one was called the plebeians. The patricians would be the Republicans today, or conservatives, and the plebeians would be the Democrats today. Okay. Now it says the patricians were a small group of wealthy landowners. All right. A small group of wealthy landowners. Those are modern day Republicans, basically. It says they elected the fathers of the state. That's why, if you notice, conservatives always talk about the patriarchy, right? That's what they talk about. And they fight against those Democrats. The Democrats talk about destroying the nucleus family and so on and so forth, and then the conservatives talk about some Jesus Christ garbage and the patriarchy. It says, fathers of the state who advised the Etruscan king. The plebeians were peasants, laborers, all right, which you notice the average liberal or Democrat is like a 9-to-5, doing little jobs here and there, right? It's rare that you see those Democrats unless they're at the very top, right? Which the Democrats at the very top go hand in hand. They join hand in hand with the Republicans at the very top. But then you have your average degenerate liberal doing 9 to 5, all that. Black women, Negro, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, all these different nationalities that kind of play into that role. And then on the flip side, you also got our people, right? Because that's the thing, and I talked about this. The fact that you have a large amount of so-called Negroes, yes, from the tribe of Judah, all right, a large amount that's not talked about, which they're middle class Negroes with, two father homes, right? Let's say two father homes, so like a 2-parent home, meaning a father and a mother, all right. And when you see those children, because they're living in these neighborhoods with these Edomites, conservative Edomites, when you see those children, I mean, the so-called black girl, so-called black boy, with both parents, and you can see the difference. The way they act, the way they move is totally different. But that group is not talked about because the agenda is to basically put forth the lower class, the super degenerate class, right? The rappers, the athletes, the low class, the lower class. All right. So those are the ones that are pushed up. But you got a bunch of Negroes out here, conservative Negroes out here, make a lot of money quietly. All right. And they're gonna vote for Trump and get into that madness too. All right. So these are the things that happened in ancient Rome. All right. You had so-called Negroes that owned land and stuff, so on and so forth. And on the flip side, you had so-called Negroes that were plebeians. All right. Now, when you look at the different class, because that's something that's gonna take place in this upcoming civil war. It's not just gonna be civil unrest, and the civil war is gonna be a class war. It's gonna be a racially induced war. So it's all the different types of war that can happen. It's gonna happen. All right, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be static on all levels. Now, when you go back to ancient Rome, you also had class. All right, you had class warfare. At the very top, you had the councils, as you see right there, and you had the senators. Just like today, you have the judiciary branch, right, with Supreme Court. Then you had the senators. You talking about Congress. All right, so these things happened, back then. Now you have the patricians, as you see right there, conservatives, right? I talked about it, the patriarchy, a man, the woman, and the children. All right, the patriarchy, these were the patricians, and they were landowners, they owned businesses, right? They were a lot wealthier, which in the United States of America, the wealthier group are the Republicans. We know that. We know that Republicans are wealthier than Democrats on average. Why? Because, again, it's the spirit of ancient Rome coming back again in the United States. All right, because the United States is ancient Rome. The way that you see these women out here acting, the way they act in the United States, that's how Roman women acted. You couldn't say shit to a Roman woman back then. Like, I remember the history of how who was that? Mark Antony. Mark Antony, when he was it was Julius Caesar. With that what's that Egyptian chick, man? Cleopatra. When Cleopatra went to Rome, man, listen, she was the queen of Egypt, right? When she went to Rome, like, Roman women were looking down on her. And these Roman women were not queens and nothing. They were just Roman citizens. These women, from all different nationality, primarily Edomites, they looked at Caesar and they looked at Mark Antony like, why y'all looking at her like she's something special? She ain't nothing but a lowly Egyptian. And this was a queen of Egypt. So this mentality that you see American women of different nationality, it's that ancient Roman spirit. They look down on everybody and every other woman on the planet. Although, when you go into the details, they are actually the worst women in the history of humanity. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. Now on the right side, you have the plebeians, which, those are your average workers. All right, your average workers. And then on the bottom, you have the slaves, right? The gladiators. You Negroes that get into entertainment, gladiators, sports, athletes, rappers, all that. all the way down to like, working at different shops and stores. So this was the ancient Roman structure, all right, in the ancient times. So there's more images here, but again, you just got to do your research. For sake of time, we're gonna keep going because I'm gonna read the conflict of the orders. So we're gonna understand class warfare that took place in ancient Rome and how it's gonna happen again in these upcoming months. All right. So this is conflicts of the orders. It says the conflict of the orders, or the struggle of the orders, was a political struggle between the plebeians, commoners, today's Democrat, and the patricians, aristocrats of the ancient Roman Republic. Okay? That was the political struggle between them. Just like today, we have a political struggle. All right? It says lasting from 500 BC to 287 BC, in which the plebeians sought political equality with the patricians. If you know anything about the Democrats, what is the first thing they talk about? DEI. All right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay? Because it was the same thing back then. The plebeians, right, wanted to be equal without necessarily doing the same amount of work. All right? But they wanted equality with back then they wanted equality with the patricians, just like right now the Democrats are talking about equality with the Republicans. Financial equality, aka communism. Okay? It says, let's keep going. It says it played a major role in the development of the Constitution of the Roman Republic. Shortly after the founding of the Republic, this conflict led to a secession from Rome by the plebeians to the Sacred Mount at a time of war. The results of this first secession was the creation of the office of plebeian tribune. All right, and that's a secession, and it's crazy because you talk about these different states talking about seceding, from the United States. Texas talking about seceding. So these are things that happen in ancient Rome, right? There's nothing new under the sun. It says, and with it, the first acquisition of real power by the plebeians. Now, it says, at first, only patricians were allowed to stand for election to political office. But over time, these laws were revoked, and eventually all offices were open to the plebeians. Since most individuals who were elected to political office were given membership in the Roman Senate, this development helped to transform the Senate from a body of patricians into a body of both patricians and plebeians, aristocrats. Well, the correlation to that, because it just came to me in the spirit, first and foremost, you have to understand the United States originally was a republic. Thus the term Republican. I'm going to say that again. The United States in its origins was a republic. Thus Republican. But then eventually what happened? Democracy was pushed in. So now you have a democracy where you have the Republicans, which were the original, now having a fight for power with the Democrats, the plebeians and the patricians. You see the correlation? Nothing new under the sun. Let's keep going. It says, let me see where we at. It says this development helped to transform the Senate from a body of patricians into a body of both patricians and plebeians, aristocrats. This development occurred at the same time that the plebeians' legislative assembly, the plebeian council, was acquiring additional power. At first, its acts, plebiscites, right, applied only to plebeians, although after 339 BC, with the institution of laws by the second plebeian dictator, so now you had dictators. a plebeian dictator, like today, a Democrat dictator. Okay. Now, by the way, let's be honest, all right? Like, I mean, what you've had in the United States has been dictatorship, but it's not the old Hitler, type dictatorship, but it's getting there, all right? It's getting there. The United States hasn't been a republic for a long time. Babylon the Great hasn't been a democracy for a long time. It's just really been about whoever gets in power runs the show. All right, Donald Trump got in power in 2016. He kind of did his thing, and Biden got in power, and he went out and basically took everything that Donald Trump did and threw that shit away, and he did his own thing. And now Donald Trump talking about, when I get back on it, I'm gonna redo the things that I did in 2016 and more. All right, and this is the same thing that was taking place in ancient Rome. It says, these acts began to apply to both plebeians and patricians. The most fundamental change, however, was the granting of tribunetia potestas, all right, tribunician power, in which tribunes or tribunes of the plebs could veto unfavorable legislations. And that's exactly what's going on, because the modern day pleb, the Democrat, is able to veto whatever, because you have the House of Representatives and you have the Senate. If I'm not mistaken, the House is ran by the Republicans and the Senate is ran by the Democrats as of now. And basically, the House can veto what the Senate wants to do, and the Senate can veto what the House wants to do. So this is the same thing. It's the same process. All right. So just a little bit of history, man, and there's more. Right. If you had time, you can go ahead and read. But again, for the sake of time and understanding, we know exactly what's going on. And like I said, that's the title of this lesson in the Drums of Liberation. And the reason why it's called the Drums of Liberation is because we witnessing the fall of Edom Esau. All right. So that's why you're hearing the drums of liberation, the Civil War, the economy falling apart, the Third World War right around the corner. These are drums of liberation. The RFID microchip, all right, being talked about heavily as far as being implemented, all right. These are drums of liberation. That means Yahushua is the time of Yahushua's arrival is a lot. It will be sooner than a lot of people expect. All right, so this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1. We're going to read verse 9 and verse 10 in the NLT, all right? And it states, history merely repeats itself. All right? History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Sometimes people say, here is something new. But actually, it is old. Nothing is ever truly new. All right. And it was proven in this lesson, and we see it every day. All right. We see it every day. And we praise Yahweh Shemel Shah for giving us this knowledge. All right. This wisdom, this knowledge, and most importantly, the understanding. Now, let's close out with the book of 2nd Ezra 15. And we're going to start at 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, and guns. All right, and guns in their hands, basically. Not knives, not ninja swords, and guns in their heads. Glocks, you know what I'm saying? All that. Colt, 45 shotguns, and like all that. All the guns you could possibly know of, man. All right, because you got a lot of people out here, man, that are really strapped like Rambo, man, and they can't wait for this thing to pop off. And then on the flip side, you got some people that got nothing, and it's gonna be a bloodbath. Now, as far as us, the hopeful elect, like I said before, we choose no side. We watch Babylon fall. Okay. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition amongst men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. When you look up kings and princes, it's talking about governors. It's talking about politicians. All right. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's some more. I mean, all right. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. That's martial law. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. The pride of the American pride. All right. Believing in the political process. Enjoying the fruits of the enslavement of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Black jobs, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Using us as clowns, all right? And entertainers, sucking us dry financially, mentally, spiritually. Because of all of that, the judgment of the Lord is coming down on Babylon. So what we do is we choose no sides and we watch Babylon fall. All right. So with that, that's the end of the lesson. In this edition of the Drums of Liberation, man. So just continue to watch and be faithful. All right. Call Halayim La Yahweh Shemel Shah. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom. Salutation to all you sincere Akim across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. Because I'm a guy from the DC camp. Shalom.